Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is at FeelThePaynePW, or Nick Payne if you prefer, and you're watching my 22nd episode here on F12020 at MyTeam career. And obviously, because it's the 22nd episode, it's the last race of the season, the final episode in the season finale. And if you haven't checked out my previous episodes, please go do so now. The last race, of course, was at Brazil, where I qualified on pole position, but I slipped up into the first lap and actually let Leclerc by obviously accidentally. I decided to change the strategy halfway through the race and actually pit a lot earlier than I had to, and sort of managed the tyres from there. Well, I actually stayed out ahead, managed the tyres so well that I could stay out ahead, and I actually won the race in Brazil with a great strategy by myself, if I do say so. And obviously, as we come through now for the new race, for the new weekend, obviously there's a few activities that we can sort of arrange here, and we're going to do the sponsor advertisement vehicle because it does give you a little bit of money and boost the sort of team acclaim. And also we're actually going to do, because we've still got another 5 days to fill, it's going to be a 3-day and a 2-day. That's the only way we can get around it. We're going to do a power equipment upgrade and the aero team building as well, as we advance on through, obviously getting the full benefits of any R&D points and any money that we get through that. We are trying to save money, because then we'll be able to see who we can sign at the end after this race. But as for the final time, let's go through to qualifying. As we come around the final corner to start our first qualifying lap here in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. It's a very long circuit with a lot of sort of complex turns and one massive straight. As we end sector 1 here at the 50-yard line, turn the car in, actually hit the bollard and actually go deep into the following turn, which does sort of slow us down for the rest of the lap. But as we go round onto the back straight here, put into the DRS zone with as fast engine mode as possible on max. No, obviously not on rich mix, one higher than that. Brake at the 100-meter board, turn the car in, and we actually go deep into the chicane. We go too fast and brake too late, unfortunately. So it's not going to be the greatest of lap time, to be honest, from us. We could do a lot better if we really tried at it. So we're just going to make sure that this turn is a lot better as we bump over the curb, sort of get a little bit of airborne, hit the bollard on that chicane as well on the way through, as we come into sector 3, where it's very tricky to overtake round in this sector, as we slow the car down just to make sure we get a good apex on that turn as we come around the final couple of corners now, to finish this lap off here at Abu Dhabi for our first qualifying session in Q1. As we come around the final corner now, and what lap time can we get? We made quite a few mistakes in the lap, but it's going to be a P12 finish for Q1, so not the worst result considering we made quite a few mistakes through there. And it's actually, as we go across the line for Q1, we actually go back up to Q3 or P3, so a good result to get us through to Q2, and we can go on into the qualifying 2 now as we go P14 in our qualifying 2 lap. So we do have to go out again, otherwise we would get knocked out. We do improve the time massively, and we actually go all the way up to P2 in the qualifying lap. So we are through into knockout in Q3 for the final time this season, as we go across the line and we get a P5 finish on our first lap, and on our second lap we drop down to P6, but we do gain some more time on the car, on the lap time. But for the final time this season we finish P5 in qualifying. Now let's see if we can convert that P5 into a good result in the race.
It's the final chapter of the season then here at the spectacular Yas Marina circuit. It's a race where the pole sitter failed to finish in 3 of the first 4 events. A front row start here is by no means a guarantee of victory, so we go into battle once more as we get underway at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. The drivers will be racing here at the Yas Marina circuit through 21 corners and a lap distance of just over 3.4 miles. There are a few opportunities to pass, with long straights and DRS zones in 2 places, turns 8 and turn 11. Plenty of close racing then, plenty of speed, and I hope plenty of drama to be found in the laps ahead. And so, for one final time this season, Anthony Davidson joins me in the commentary box.
Well, the winter break is looming once again. No doubt many of those teams already have their eyes firmly on next season. But there's still work to be done here. Still championship positions to decide, which can make a big difference to the prize money. So no one's going to be taking their foot off the throttle just yet.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Sebastian Vettel will start on pole. Fantastic qualifying from the multiple world champion. And it's Charles Leclerc in P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Hamilton, the rookie, Valtteri Bottas, and Albon, Sainz, Norris, Kvyat, and Max Verstappen. They've taken a grid penalty. Perez, Stroll, Kimi Raikkonen, and Aitken, Ocon, Giovinazzi, Kevin Magnussen, and Daniel Ricciardo. Grosjean, Russell, Latifi, and Pierre Gasly picks up the final grid slot today. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
As you can see, it's going to be a two-stop strategy. It's going to be soft to the medium, and we're going to see how we can get on in the race. We have been bumped up to P4 due to a grid penalty, so we can see how that actually affects us as we go to 5 red lights, and we're underway now. And we've got Hamilton to the side of us, both the Ferraris just ahead of us. Vettel and Leclerc both there. We're going to try sending it. We bang wheels with the German in Sebastian Vettel, but we're up into P2. We've jumped both multiple world champions, with Vettel being the 4-time and Hamilton being the 6-time. And Leclerc has got a great start, who's looking to get a world championship here. Him and Bottas are in the world championship fight for this season. It's all down on this race. If Bottas finishes low down in the points and Leclerc wins, then he does win the championship, but that's all dependent on Bottas' result. But if we can get in front of Leclerc, that screws him over massively here, as we're going to try get very close to him. We're not going to try the dive just yet. We're going to try it on the next straight while we can get a good lunge out of this exit, out of the chicane, into turn 10. Can we make a good jump into turn 11, into the braking zone? We're going to go to the outside. He squeezes us right on the curb. We go round the outside, which turns into the inside of turn 12 and 13. And we're going to get up into P1 here. So at the end of lap 1, we're going to most likely be in P1 here as we come round into the sort of 16 and 17. And Leclerc jumps! Leclerc dives on through into turn 17 and actually makes a wonderful move on us. Great showing from the Ferrari driver there. A great little overtake, and unfortunately for us, that's where we're going to have to settle. We're going to have to settle down and settle back for a P2 now at the end of lap 1, but still a great start from us as we jumped 2 positions from the get-go. Can we see if we can move up any further as we come on through, still in P2 at the end of lap 6 here. Vettel's still behind us. Leclerc's just pulled out with that clean air. He's just pulled a massive gap onto all of us. It's over 4 seconds now as we've got Vettel right hot on our tail as we come through to start lap 7. Don't forget, Vettel's on the medium tyre, so we should have a power advantage on the tyre, but unfortunately it's not working out as Vettel is right on our tail, and we make contact, and there's a yellow flag, and he's hit Albon as well. Contact from behind, and it's this virtual safety car, and Sebastian Vettel is out of this Grand Prix with hitting our back wheel, and Sebastian Vettel may have caused damage to a whole load of other cars there as Leclerc pitted under the virtual safety car, which is going to be huge for him. We just missed out as we went past the bollard, so we're going to stay out for one more lap and come in 1 lap later. Thankfully, all the other cars are slow, but I do think Leclerc's got the best deal out of that, because he was pitted as everyone else was slow around him. So he's just going to jump everyone and get a massive gap that he already had. It was 4 seconds, if you remember. That's most likely going to go up to about a 20-second gap, most likely. If he done it right, that is. If he got held up in traffic, then obviously that will slow him down. But we boxed in P1, and we've dropped down into P10 now, just behind Lewis Hamilton, who has jumped us in the pit strategy. We do have to pit again, remember, so hopefully we can get it right this time. As we come across the line for lap 10, and Aiken, Kvyat and Verstappen are all in the pits, so we move up from P10 up to P7 as we look to catch up to Lewis Hamilton. And as you can see, 2 more cars are in the pits, in Kimi Raikkonen, Perez and Norris and Bottas are all in the pits, and now Bottas is trying to get out of the pits as well. So we're going to have to deal with Bottas to deal with now. As you can see, he's right on our tail as we come through the final sector, in the final part of the sector as well, as we come around the final corners into turn 20, into turn 21, and Hamilton is now pitting on lap 13. He went onto the soft tyres as well, just like us. But don't forget, we went a lot longer on our first stint, so surely we should have the pace as we go through the rest of the remainder of the race. But we're into P2. Leclerc's pulled out the gap ahead, and Bottas is trying to make the move round the outside into turn 1. Can we keep down the inside? We brake late and we keep the position for the time being. He's still got the room on the outside, but he has to yield and go back into P3. Unfortunately for him, thankfully for us, we keep P2 for another lap. But as I say that, we're on to lap 15, and Bottas is still on our tail as Leclerc's pulling out to an 8-second gap. We're boxing this lap, remember, and we've got Bottas directly behind us trying to make any room, but we've gone deep into turn 1, and it's actually going to affect us, but we go round the outside. We keep the position. We give him enough room down the inside, but thankfully we keep the position for another bit of the lap. Can we keep in front here as we're coming into the pits this lap, which is going to allow Bottas to go on through with a load of other cars now, and we're going to have to box this lap here on lap 17, hopefully for a set of medium tyres. Hopefully the strategy doesn't work out too badly here. We may be under threat by Bottas, as Hamilton has now gone through on those set of tyres, on those set of soft tyres as it was. So hopefully we can get a good jump out of here as we boxed in P2, if you remember, and we're now down into P11 with Ricciardo up ahead. Can we make easy work here of the Australian? Can we get past Daniel Ricciardo as quickly as possible here as we go very, very nicely over the corner? We've got Raikkonen ahead, then Ricciardo, so hopefully we can get past Kimi and Ricciardo as quickly as possible, jump up the queue as quickly as possible, and we're going to see with DRS here the power of a fresh pair of medium tyres. We're going to look to go around the outside. We notice that there's no room. We sail it to the inside, brake late, give them room, clean as you like, and make the overtake round the outside of the final turn in the chicane into the next DRS zone. But he will have DRS on us now as we try to catch up to Ricciardo, but he has got away from us, so we're going to have to stick behind Daniel Ricciardo for the time being. But thankfully we moved up past Kimi Raikkonen now. Can we make a move here on Ricciardo as soon as possible? We need to get this quick moves as quickly as possible, get them out of the way. Can't stay in this dirty air, can't stay behind all these drivers because it does slow us down, and we need to make full use of the tyre being as good as in optimal conditions as possible at this time and point, because all the other cars will be pitting rather soon with this undercut, as Ricciardo is now coming into the pits, which will allow us to have that clean air, which will allow us to get away, as Sainz is also in the pits, so is Albon, so is Bottas, so we do move up quite a few positions here, but Bottas is going to be coming out the pits to the left of us, and hopefully we do stay in front of him, which we do, and Kimi Raikkonen is actually positioned his car in between Bottas and myself, allowing us to have even more room as Ocon now enters the pits. So does Leclerc. So hopefully we may have a chance here as we go fastest overall, get the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. And as you can see, Leclerc is going to be coming out of the pits. He's just going to be coming out just in front of us here, and there he is. We've closed the gap onto Leclerc with these tyres. Hopefully we can have good fortune and actually overtake Leclerc now, as Verstappen is now in the pits, likewise with Norris, and we're going to come through back into P2, and hopefully we can make a move here on Leclerc as we're up into P2 once again, just behind the Ferrari driver. Can we make a move? Can we make a last ditch challenge before the end of this race, as we've got Leclerc directly in front of us and we're into the DRS range here? Can we make a move into the chicane, into the turn 8, as we're trying to close the gap with the DRS, with Rich Mix, as little overtake as possible so we can save it for the next straight when we're actually in a good range and we're right on the tail, and with a good exit here, we're right on the tail here, right on his gearbox with DRS. Hopefully we can make another move just like we did on lap 1. If you remember back to the start, we go round the outside, and this is more of a cleaner move as we go fastest through sector 2. We go deep into the chicane by accident. We leave him the room down the inside, but we're up into P1 once again, and we're looking good for another race win here. This will be our 5th race win if we can keep this, but we've got to make sure we don't allow Leclerc down the inside like we did on lap 1 round that turn. But we're going to come through, and it's on lap 27. Leclerc is right on our heels. He stayed with us the whole entire race. Don't forget, he's on newer medium tyres. They're softer than ours due to us pitting quite a few laps earlier, so hopefully we can stay in front for the remainder of this lap. But Leclerc, who's fighting for a world championship here, is not going to give it easy to us. He's going to attack us into the chicane here, but we are going to stay in front, thankfully. And it's the final lap of this Grand Prix and the final lap of the season, and this is where the career of Leclerc could be made here, because he could become a world champion if he gets into the lead. But Bottas is behind him, so I don't think it's actually going to be possible for him. I do think Bottas is going to win the world championship here, who's drove magnificently, getting up through the field, up into the podium. He's going to be world champion, as Leclerc is right on our tail. He's not going to give up the fight. He's still going to go for P1, because it is another race win on the books if you do get the win. But we are going to stay in front through this braking zone into the chicane, and we're going to stay in front for the remainder of the race, hopefully, as we come through the final sector, the sort of trickier sector, more technical sector, and we're going to stay in front of Leclerc, Bottas behind, and as he's not in a range to make the dive just yet, as we go deep, which allows Leclerc back. But thankfully for us, it is looking like it's going to be another P1, and it's going to be our 5th win of the season here for Payne Racing, our 5th win of our career. And Leclerc putting in a great showing, and we had to put in a great defence on Leclerc as the fireworks go off, and it's our 5th win of the season. And it's a great result for us, jumping from P4 to P1, 5th win of the season, and Pierre Gasly getting driver of the day there. And Bottas is your new world champion. Who would have pictured that at the start of the season? I'd have definitely pictured a Mercedes driver winning the season, or winning the world championship, but not the Finnish driver. The Flying Finn has been superb this season as he wins the world championship.
Counting them now then, we have a new World Drivers' Champion. Victory today then, but bittersweet emotions, I'm sure, as the championship slips through their fingers. Even so, what a fantastic final race of the season this was. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
The faces on our top 3 look so incredibly happy as they make their way up to the podium. A much-deserved victory and a brilliant performance from them all.
So obviously, Valtteri Bottas is your world champion of this season. We get the 26 points regardless. And obviously on the last episode it was confirmed that we couldn't move up or down in the World Drivers' Championship, as Jack Aitken can only get P13. Good result for him in the end, to be honest. But we do stay 6th, but we are just 3 points behind Sebastian Vettel overall over the season. So I do think that is a great result for us in our first season to get P6, considering we overtook Albon and we actually put our car in the best of the rest position in the Constructors' Championship as well, as it was stated on the last episode. Same as the Drivers' Championship, we couldn't go up, we couldn't go down. We are P4 in the in the Constructors' Championship. So that's where we're going to wrap up this episode. If you have enjoyed it, please slap a like on it. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Any thoughts, please comment them down below. And I hope you've enjoyed this whole season, and I hope you're back with us for the new season, for Season 2, of course. I've been at FeelThePaynePW. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.